I hope all of you are doing amazing. The topic for today is gonna be mistakes I made when I started working out. And this is for normal training as well, but also, of course, for calisthenics. And my main point with this is either for you to relate a lot, and of course we can't really change the past, but we can change what we do in the future. Or if you're just getting started with your training, this might be a really good thing for you to have in mind, the things I will mention. So first up is gonna be when it comes to eating. I was not even close to eating enough when I started working out. Because when I looked, I had no knowledge really about anything. I started training, I went to the gym, I trained a lot, burned a lot of calories, but I was chasing the lean physique from the beginning, which was completely wrong, especially if I want the long-term results. So I was always trying to gain strength, but be really low in weight and also being really lean. You know, when we all start, we want the six-pack, we want to have the veins on our arms and all of those things. But that is just completely wrong in the long-term perspective, because if I wanted to gain strength, I would just eat. I would eat and train. It's a really simple principle, but hard at the moment. Because peak performance is when you're lean, especially for calisthenics. But during the phases where literally it doesn't really matter right now, but I just know that in the future, if this is where I want to be, I want to have this skill, I want to be able to lift these weights or whatever it may be, I need to build strength. And if I eat a lot, that is just going to help so much. So that is something I regret. Not just focusing on my physique, but more focus on eating more and building strength, not necessarily the performance part. Then something that goes in hand to that is overtraining. In the beginning, I thought it was just a linear path. Like the more you train, the stronger you will be. It's just like more hours in the gym, more gains. And that was the principle I did for at least 1 to 2 years. Just training as much as I can, trying to do like full body sessions every single workout, training way too many times per week. And what happened is that, yes, I managed to do it. My body sort of adapted to it. And in the sense that I could perform the sessions. But my progress was significantly increased, or the potential progress I could have reached during that time would be way higher, because I just never gave my body enough time to recover. This way of training probably could have worked at least to a certain degree if I incorporated deload weeks, but of course I had no idea what deload weeks. I barely know what the rest day was. And that was the problem, just training way too much, not giving my body enough time to recover. So that is something I regret at that point, but of course, we live and we learn. So now I know less is more most of the time. You don't need to train everything 5 times per week. If you target one muscle or one skill, 2 times per week at least, you're gonna see some significant results. And more common than not is that if you just take a weekend or something, you're away for a trip or whatever it may be, where you're having sort of a shorter deload, when you come back, most of the time you're stronger than when you left off. And it's a clear sign that we just train more, we don't give enough rest to our body that it deserves. So that's something I regret, just training and not recovering. Then the third thing is when it comes to sticking to the plan. Of course, there is a certain point where you just need to be consistent and believe that it's going to work out. It's where we all start. We have an exercise, we have a training schedule, we do it for 1 week. Obviously, we're not going to see that major results. 1 week is like nothing. So during that period, don't expect anything. But my mistake happened after 1 month, 2 months. When I trained, I just did the same thing for a period of time that is significantly longer than it needs to be, so 1 to 2 months, without seeing any results. And I don't mean that I didn't get a full planche in 2 months, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just meaning small steps forward, like some progress in either strength, technique, something. But there were periods where I just didn't get any results at all, and I just kept believing, but eventually it's gonna come. That is not really the case. Sometimes for the shorter periods, yes, of course, you just gotta stick with it for some time. But to a certain degree, if you don't change the effort you're putting in, the output is gonna remain the same. So I had to change something, whether that's the training intensity, whether it's giving me more time to recover, whether that was changing my training, the exercises I'm doing. Something needs to change if I'm not seeing results in that time. And that's what I regret, not switching it up when I just didn't get any results. And then later on, I started to understand, all right, there's a certain degree, a few weeks you can give it some time, like, okay, I might not see some results now in 2 weeks, and that's fine, especially if you're switching up your training, you're putting a lot of strain on the body, it's not something it's comfortable with, it's gonna get some time until you actually see the results that you've been putting the effort in. But then there comes the point where you just gotta understand, all right, this way of training might not be the most suitable for me. And that's when it's time to experiment. And then the fourth mistake I did, that's literally the opposite, is that when I was getting results, sometimes I would still start to experiment with new shit. Like, why change a winning concept? Now looking back at it, it's like, duh, it's literally obvious. But back then it wasn't. So I was literally getting progress and I still would like, oh, but maybe there's a better way. Of course, there might always be a better way to a certain degree. Like you can always progress slightly faster, but if you're getting progress and you notice it and like you're seeing clear progress, just stick with it. Until the day comes where you're not getting progress, that's when you start experiment. But if you're getting progress, it's a winning concept. Like, keep the fuck doing what you're doing. Like, you are lucky if you're getting progress. If you find a training structure that you generally enjoy, that's number one, of course. But then if you actually get progress from it as well, like you're in heaven. Stick to the plan. So that's what I regret, switching it up. Even though I was seeing progress, I'm like, no, fucking hell, I might just get one extra push-up if I switch it up. And then I just ended up doing fucking weird sessions that wouldn't gave me anything at all, to be honest. It mostly just made it worse. Then the fifth one, that is, it still applies to some degree. I still haven't fully learned it, but that is just not caring what other people think about you in the gym. So when I was training, I focused a lot about what people thought about me when I was training. So I wouldn't always train the things I was bad at. I would always train the things I was good at, which is like, you should always focus on your weaknesses. If you want overall performance, focus on the weakest link. And most of the time, it's not gonna be the most enjoyable. Sometimes it will be, but in the beginning, if you're training the things that you don't enjoy, you're not good at all, it is going to be a bit harsh. It might be you fail a lot of times. I remember that with handstand and all of those skills. It was harsh in the beginning, just being in the gym. I always liked doing the pull-up stuff, doing some bench press, the things I like, oh, I'm strong for my age. And then I didn't put the focus on the things that I was bad at because I didn't want to look bad. You know, this flexing part inside of you. And that maintained for a long time. Like literally, when I then got the handstand and muscle up, that was the only thing I did. And then I would put less focus on the planche training, the front lever stuff. I was like, oh, it feels a bit bad just doing these things, but you know, I feel powerful. It feels good when people watch me when I do the muscle ups in the gym or whatever it may be. And that meant that I put focus on the things I was already good at, when I, to be honest, would just put that same focus on the things I wasn't that good at, I would just improve so much. And still until this day, sometimes that occurs. Sometimes I will do some things just because it feels good. Not necessarily to the degree now where I care about what other people think. Now it's like, that doesn't matter. But it's more personal this time. For me now, it's like, sometimes I avoid certain things because I just don't enjoy them at all, even though I know it's good for me. And it's sort of the same concept, like, I should be focusing on the weakest link, but it's just such a drive to do the things we enjoy the most. And to a certain degree, you need to do it, but then there's also a point where you just got to change, you got to adapt and put the focus where it's mostly needed. I also notice now that the exposure is insane, but who cares? I am white as fuck during winter season. and the exposure just can't handle it. So I'm sorry for that, but we do the best we can. At least you can hear my voice probably decent. But that is the last thing I want to wrap it up with. Just put focus where it's needed. Of course you're going to enjoy your training. That's a major thing, but just know that the majority of the time you spend should be on your weakest link. And if that is where you spend your time, your overall performance is always going to be significantly increased, instead of you just focusing on the things you're already good at. If your goal, of course, is to be as complete as possible, but most of the time, I guess that is the end result. And the plan for today is going to be a Maltese session. So Maltese hold, we're going to do some good weighted dips. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been such a long time. But now after 4 weeks at least, with recovery training, everything, haven't gone crazy on stuff, just focusing on building strength in my lower back, since that's where I had my pain. And now it's completely gone, feels really good. I do want to get back on the weighted dips with the higher weights. So that's going to be the plan for today. I'll see you guys in the gym. First up, it's going to be the shoulder mobility. A perfect example of something I do not like to do, but it's definitely my weak spot. One of the main reasons, probably, I'm not 100% sure, but high chance that it was one of the reasons at least to why I got the shoulder pain or the lower back pain in the first place, due to arching, due to lack of shoulder mobility. So let's start off with, it's gonna be 2 sets. First one is 2-minute hold, and then the second one is gonna be a single minute hold. Just literally opening up, working for the shoulder mobility, and in the long run, helping me with a handstand position and prevent arching. All right, first one done. I will do one more, and it's just a 1-minute one. Really trying to sink in the position, but I'm not gonna let you guys watch it because it's pretty damn boring. So I'll just let you guys jump directly to the second mobility exercise, which also isn't the most funny one, but hopefully really beneficial. This next one is pretty damn crazy in the sense of connection. Literally only 2 kilograms, but still probably one of the heaviest things I do, except for full Maltese hold. That one is pretty harsh as well. But the concept here is to have a retraction position and doing an arm raise, which is insanely hard. Like doing it pronated or with protraction, it's fine, shoulder. But now with the retraction and then depression with the shoulder, it's literally like the back working, and it's so harsh. And mobility wise as well, in this top position, I'm giving it my all. So I'm guessing about like 8 reps, and then I'm gonna be out. Mad. harsh. But I'm gonna do one more set on each arm and then moving on. So I'll get back to you guys when it's time for Maltese. It is time, Maltese hold. It's not been that long since I did last time, and the last session actually surprised me when it came to the performance. Way better than I expected, and today I'm keeping it up, having the second to lowest resistance band. I think it's 5 to 15 kilograms, and I measured it out to be around 7 kilograms. Took a weight in the band, about 7 kilograms of help at this level. So not too much, which means that if I'm getting the holds pretty solid, I of course am aiming above 6 seconds, sometimes doable, especially on good days, but worst day, maybe not. But if I do get it over 6 seconds with this resistance band, it's really good. Time and attention, and since I'm not getting that much help, close to actually the real hold, which is at the end of the day the end goal. So let's do 3 sets, and the first one is going to be the mark line of how well I'm actually going to perform. This is probably the one where music plays the most role. Need a good drop. Not too bad, not too bad. First time grabbing the bar, feels the fun, but actually entering the hold was pretty solid. I don't know, I might be arching slightly, lost the protraction a bit, but for being the first hold, I'm freaking happy. And since not a lot of help, it's crazy actually. I do need to do a video of me just putting together all the vlogs, like the training parts, so we can see how much it has developed, because now it's been like a few months with training this skill, and I just really want to show the progress. That's why I always track as well, doing the YouTubes, so it's a clear line. You will see what I actually do and what's actually the outcome. So I want to do a video just showing actually day by day how each set looks. But that was a good start. Let's take some rest and do a second set. Time for another one. And for these ones and holds in general, I tend to extend the rest a little bit, especially if I feel like I need it, because they are so important. Like the accessory exercises like weighted dips, arm raises, those things that aren't necessarily the most important thing in my sessions, I just stick with 3 minutes. But for holds, if I feel like after 3 minutes, I'm like, I feel like another minute would do me good, benefit the hold, I will take it. Because I prioritize my hold and trying to always get like full recovery in between them at least, to bump up the chance of them being well performed. And I also had to check on the previous one, and towards the end the form got actually better. So I think I need to just focus a bit more on my lower back to fully, I don't know how you say it, call it. Fuck it, it doesn't matter. Literally just squeeze my glutes, squeeze the lower back to get my legs up, because now I'm forming sort of a hollow body with my bum too high up, which is not really what I want. So straight body, PPT, protraction, you know the drill, but in reality it's a bit harder to perform. I don't know, I think the form might have been better. The only thing was that I forget to put weights on the other side, so these ones lift a bit, which is frustrating because I try to counter push it. It doesn't matter too much, it would just change it like 1 second. But I think my body positioning was better, maybe drop some retraction, but still pretty good. So let's get about 4 minutes of rest and then do the third set. All right, last one. I did stack it up with some extra weights now, so if I have a bad set, at least I can't complain about them lifting up. But let's do our best. I also want to say that the 28th of November, now is the Black Weeks, Black Weekends, all of those things. But Gunation are gonna have their biggest sale of the year, which is the Black Weekend, starting the 28th of November. So all the clothing, this insane performance shirt that I've been falling in love with, the pants, the equipment I'm using, literally all of those things they have in the store. Everything is gonna be on discount, and then code Simon will always give you 10% additional on top of the discounted product. So just a blast. If you're either way gonna invest in it, you can save some extra bucks. So have a look this Friday directly after this video comes out. Let's do the final set, hopefully the best one, aiming for 6 to 7 seconds. The previous one were longer than I expected, so this one should be doable. Like the last second, literally falling down into a wide back lever, or at least it feels like it. But overall, extremely satisfied with all the 3 sets, better than I expected, no help whatsoever, or 7 kilograms, but in relation, almost nothing, which is just insane. So I'm looking forward to the next hype sesh where I will actually give it another try without any help at all, literally just doing a hold and see where I'm at. Next up, supinated full planche, and trust me, this is almost as hard as Maltese. And yes, I know what you're saying. It's in different ways. Like Maltese is extremely heavy, also puts insane amount of strain, shoulders, it's different skills, different connections, extremely hard to reach. But for me, the supinated, I have a hard time getting the protraction and the positioning of my hips right. So of course the Maltese I would say is still much harder, but this one I have a really hard time getting around, like actually each rep or each set putting the right focus in the right spot. I can have a good hold and then I look at it, it's like, fuck yeah, but my hips were in the wrong position, or I didn't lean enough, so I was compensating with something else. All of those things plays a major role, and that's what I'm struggling with in the supinated grip. But that's why I'm training it, trying to get slightly better. I'm gonna do supersets on these ones. I'm telling you, extremely heavy, at least from my side. But 2 more sets. I'm also gonna have a look on the form. There's always small things I can tweak, make slightly easier, or improve the form. So that's what I'm gonna do, but in general it's rough. So now I'm also gonna start doing supersets, doing the full hold and then an easier progression, just to get slightly more time and attention, even though I'm taking away the lower side, or the lower part, still protraction, straight arm strength, that connection, really simulating. So I think it's gonna be beneficial. As always, my hips were a bit too low, so literally the only thing I'm gonna focus on, not the holding time, not the protraction. Of course, I will try my best on them, but main focus is to get my hips up and just have that line, the PPT with the pelvis tilt. And if I have that one, I'll be satisfied. Then the rest, hopefully good as well, but not as important. I hope that was better. Felt better, might have lost just slight reach or a protraction, but it felt like the hips were at least in level. So let's have a look. I had a look and not gonna lie, I am happier with the previous one, but still, even though my body was straight, I had a slight angle downwards. So I think I need to lean just slightly more in order to then leverage up my full body. The connection, everything with my hips, it was fine, just that my whole body was slightly tilted downward. This is of course small tweaks in general, still a pretty good hold, but I do really want to make sure that since I'm training holds, simulating my actual goal, which is to do it without any band, I do want to make sure that the form is there. So then when I take away the band, my body is really comfortable with knowing the angles, the positioning of my body and all of those things. Then again, often when you just learn a skill at first, don't put too much focus on the form, it always gets better. But now I'm in the stage where I compete, I want to get my shit much better. I can hold the 3-second one, I just want to make sure that the form, everything is getting better, so that's why I put so much focus. But of course in the beginning, when you first learn a skill, it's not all about form. It's more about not getting injured, getting good progress, increasing the intensity, and those key things. Please, I hope that was better. Felt like I had slightly more lean. Maybe not the longest hold, but I just really hope it was better. Felt alright. Felt alright. Not as powerful as it usually does, but it's alright. Then again, now I'm also doing this as second exercise after Maltese. Maybe not the best combination, but so far I prioritize Maltese higher. So first thing I will have, then this, of course, slightly fatiguing, straight arm strength, shoulders, literally core as well, but it is what it is. As long as I get solid holds, it's fine. Now, finally, time for an exercise I've been really looking forward to. And that's the weighted dips. Like I said, I've been skipping the heavy weights for the past 1 month due to the lower back. And now the lower back pain is gone since a while back, but I've also been strengthening the lower back since like 2 weeks at least now. So I feel pretty confident that as long as I do the form correct and everything, just having the load there, it's not gonna do me any harm. So the higher chance of getting injured is the shoulders and if I open up the chest, but those things of course I always think about, so hopefully that doesn't happen as well. But let's do first set, 90 kg, which is where I left off, aiming for 8 repetitions. Fuck, that felt powerful. But then again, in Germany I did 11 reps on 100 kg, so this shouldn't be too much of a problem. I think the main thing is the setup. It's just far away from meant for weighted dips. But 8 reps, I think I did a bit too fast in the beginning. Don't want to lose control, but really just hyped to be back on the weighted stuff. And it felt absolutely perfect. One more. It fucking puts a smile on my face doing these ones. Like, it's insane how much I enjoy it. And I know it's been a big discussion between like our weighted stuff beneficial for statics, and it's been going up and down. And reality is, to some degree, yes. It's not like you're gonna be a beast in statics if you just do weighted dips, weighted pull-ups. That's not the case. But you are gonna get some things transferred. Like, one thing I 100% guarantee you is your push-ups, planche push-ups, are gonna be benefited from weighted dips. It's a lot of simulating movements, especially if you get your protraction right. The connection there really like closely related. Then are your planche static hold gonna get better? Probably not that much. They are very different in how they are performed, but you are getting strengthened in areas that are involved in the planche as well, just the normal hold. So there are benefits. But then the main thing, to be honest, is more about how much do you enjoy your training. Like, I love doing this. I look forward to it. So it puts a smile on my face, like I said, to go to the gym and just perform it. So I show up constantly showing up. Having something to look forward to is just the key. Like, I post so much on YouTube, you can follow my journey. I skipped like maximum five sessions this entire year. I never progressed so much in my entire life. I've never had so fun during my training sessions, and it's just been a blast. Maybe, yes, I could have changed something to make it more specific towards my skill training, but would I have shown up as many times? Hard to tell. Maybe I would, considering I do YouTube, but I definitely wouldn't enjoy it as much. Now I find the lifestyle a training routine that I genuinely enjoy, and that's the key. So at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Then if something is extremely helpful for one skill, that's of course important, but how much you enjoy it, how often you're going to show up, that's what's going to determine how much success you're going to have in the long run. Try to make it a bit slower, just for the control purpose. Of course, way longer time retention, a bit harder, but felt good. One thing I do feel is the light strain on the lower back is when I actually dismount the dip position. So in the end, when I pull my legs back to go up, that's the only time I actually feel some pressure on my lower back. So I think that's the one I gotta be mostly careful with. See if I can really get full lockout and then take a step back with some light pronated body. I think it's gonna be helpful, but Good set. Last one. Yeah, we're on. Definitely feeling the fatigue now, but then again, a lot of reps on high weights and really the first set with heavy weights back, so not that weird, but extremely satisfied, feeling strong. Last up on the schedule is going to be the hyperextensions. My lower back and my hips is clearly one of my weaknesses. One thing I'm having problems with all planche stuff, to be honest, Maltese as well, just getting that hip connection in a good way. Then everything is connected. You have the protraction needs to be right as well. I need to be strong enough in the lean, but those things I've been targeting for a long time and my lower back is slightly slacking. So hyperextensions, perfect for it. Also a pretty easy exercise to adjust intensity. So I will do 3 sets, might just show one of them because it's same shit and nothing too special, but I want to show at least one to give you an idea of how it looks. Start pointing toes, trying to simulate the skill. And then of course breathing, especially for these exercises that are long time attention. If I don't breathe correctly, it's harsh. And I didn't focus on it in the beginning, got a bit exhausted from just that part. But for the next one, definitely focusing on breathing a bit more. But that's the main idea with this one, literally full lockout, extended, simulating the lower part of all planche skills, to be honest. So a good one to incorporate in a lot of planche trainings. And that is gonna be a wrap. It turned out to be a pretty damn good session. Really satisfied with the Maltese planche. It's a mixed combination of feelings, but it was all right. And then the dips, just absolutely love being back on them. Felt so nice, and yeah, I just genuinely enjoyed them so much. So happy to be back on that track. And then the accessory work, the mobility, the hyperextensions, maybe not the funniest part, but to wrap it together with what I said in the beginning, working on the weaknesses is definitely the way to progress the fastest, because you target the weakest link that is contributor or that's limiting your overall progress. So that's what I'm doing right now for myself. It's not the funniest thing, but it has to be done. Then I also want to mention I have the free calisthenics masterclass, which is what I just give out. We have so much value in there, but I also have a VIP masterclass with all the full programs. We have the weekly calls. You have prioritized access to my chat, so all the messages, all the questions, everything there I will help you directly with, compared to the other one, because there's so many people there I just can't help everyone. But in the VIP, that's where I put most of my focus, and since there's only a few individuals there, I can really spend my time. And I am doing a Black Week sales on that one, so it's going to be 40% off on the yearly membership, so it's 135 euros or dollars for 1 year, which is a absolute deal, to be honest. There's so much value. You'll get access to everything I've done in the past and everything I will do in the future. And trust me, I skipped school. I jumped off university only to pursue this. So that's where I put my focus. It's the training and it's the YouTube. And yes, there's a lot of hours put in, and I really think a lot of people will benefit from it. So with that being said, have a check there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Choo-choo!